The Vegas sports books are vastly underestimating the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton this year. And I'm pretty surprised when you go back and look at the data and factor in the changes that have happened. In my opinion, the positive changes. I'm going to get back into this in here just a minute. But before we get started, would appreciate if y'all let me know in the comments how many games you got the Broncos win this year. Smash that like and subscribe for daily Broncos content. And let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? I was a little surprised by this. The over-under win total for the Broncos this year. Right now, if you look at every sports book, I know Caesars does theirs a little bit different, as you can see there with that just over 6 mark, but everybody has the Broncos at 5.5 wins. Will you bet over 5.5 or will you bet under? And what's pretty shocking about this, guys, is that if you continue to look into this, okay, who are some of the other teams around here? The Broncos are one game ahead of the New England Patriots and tied with the Carolina Panthers. Every other team is at a line that's higher than the Denver Broncos. So, I mean, they're seeing the Broncos as like a bottom 3 team in the NFL right now, which I find pretty shocking. And why is this? I mean, when you go ahead and look at Sean Payton's overall record, never had a season worse than 7 wins throughout his career as head coach. Now, of course, those Saints teams were very, very good, very talented for the most part, right? And you could argue that last year, Denver, that might have been his least talented team that he's had in a very long time, okay? But nonetheless, with the quarterback that didn't fit his system, they were able to gut out 8 wins, grind out 8 wins, which I thought was an an expectation, or it exceeded my expectations rather. Because last year I saw us winning like 5-6 games, but now I would have expected that 5.5 mark again to be on a first year head coach, right? Something like that. I mean, 5.5, that makes me feel like Vance Joseph or Nathaniel Hackett or Vic Fangio is coaching this team. But no, this isn't even Sean Payton's first year. No, this is his second year in which they won 8 games with a quarterback that didn't fit his system at all, where you had kind of a divide in the locker room a little bit with some guys, some veteran leaders, so to speak, that just honestly didn't really want to be here, in my opinion. Frank Clark and Randy Gregory. And when you look at the additions that the Broncos have made, I feel like they've improved the defensive line, the pass rush. You can say, okay, it's a big deal that we lost Justin Simmons, but I think PJ Locke and everybody that we have signed in addition in the secondary, it's going to be serviceable. We didn't lose, in my opinion, anything huge on the offensive line. Of course, Lloyd Cushenberry had a good year last year, but that was 1 year out of how many? 4, right? That he was here with the Broncos, and I'm pretty confident that Forsyth, I expect that he's going to be the starting center, that he's going to give us serviceable production, no doubt. But we didn't lose our left tackle or anything like that. You could argue that we're going to have a better skill position group with who we've brought in at the wide receiver, running back positions, tight end. Okay, maybe the emergence of Lucas Kroll. And again, you got to factor in a lot of these guys now. They're going to be in the second year of the offense. They're going to be in the second year of their defense. The culture has been laid, the expectation. There's no more transition when it comes to that. Now it's upon building upon the foundation that was built last year. It's kind of shocking to me that Vegas is predicting in my opinion, what's a significant backslide as opposed to the Broncos' 8-9 record last year. Again, I could kind of see anywhere between 7, 8, 9, 10 wins, right? Depending on how some things go. Who knows? If Bo Nix comes out there slinging like CJ Stroud, we're definitely going to the playoffs and winning more than 9, 10 games, right? But I don't know if you can count on that or bet on that, even though that's what I'll be rooting for, obviously, as a Broncos fan. But to me, I was just kind of shocked that Sean Payton has never coached a team that has had like 5, 6 wins. And Vegas out here setting the line at 5.5. I feel like that's rather ridiculous. And I hope the Broncos continue to take note of this, because when you're viewed as a bottom three team, that should really fire you up when, you could argue that I think that we've gotten better at pretty much every position, maybe outside of safety and inside linebacker. And those positions aren't as important as they used to be, in my opinion. And I think the NFL, with where they're spending money, is also showing that too, that they're not as those positions aren't as important. And so when you look at the quarterback room, I think it's much stronger than it was last year. Jarrett Stidham in his second year in the offense. Bo Nix, much more natural fit for what we're trying to do here in Denver. A high upside guy that needs some football rehab, and Zach Wilson. And again, I feel like the defensive line pass rush is vastly improved. Uh, and we might still get a guy like a Wazirike back and as a depth defensive lineman. Who knows? Maybe we bring back Mike Purcell. I think it would be really cool. But yeah, overall, I think we'll see an emergence of some of the young players. Again, Jaleel McLaughlin going in his second year. We got Blake Watson, Audric Estime. Javonte Williams is another removed from that knee injury, another year removed from that knee injury. Hopefully he comes back. He's able to gain that burst that he once had. Samaje Perine, solid veteran. I have no idea which running back, if we're going to cut one, who is going to be the one cut out of that room at training camp. Excuse me. And wide receiver, Josh Reynolds. He was basically a starting wide receiver for the Detroit Lions last year. It's like their third option, did a very solid job. Cortland Sutton, I think, is going to be back. Marvin Mims has nobody ahead of him to take away snaps. And when you got a guy like Troy Franklin, too, that can come in here, doesn't need to take on too much responsibility too early. We can continue to grow him and prepare him, kind of step by step throughout the season for him to take on more. With a veteran offensive line that was graded as one of the best, I believe in the top quarter of the NFL last year, if I'm remembering, in terms of win rate by PFF or whatever. I would expect that the Broncos, we should have at least a similar year to what we had last year. There could be ups and downs with the rookie quarterback, but outside of that, I mean, I don't see why this isn't, an 8-win team plus more, right? I think right now I have them winning 9 games, going 9-8, but they very well could increase what they're doing very easily. And you got to look at the culture again. This is a unit and a team that I think they're much more bought in. You don't have that division on the team that you had when you take over from another staff or a regime. And guys have been in these offensive and defensive systems for a second offseason now. So this is massive, I feel like, for the team. I just don't understand why 5.5 seems a little rich in terms of a backslide for the Broncos, don't you think so? Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments on this. Will you be placing any bets? I might have to throw something down on the over. We'll see, but this is not betting advice as always. This is just good Broncos discussion. So appreciate you guys as always. I'll be back with another video soon. If you guys haven't seen my film rooms on Blake Watson, I'll throw part 1 and 2 down in the comments. Appreciate you guys as always, and go Broncos.